This is it. The final race of 2019. Can Tony Elias regain his 2017 glory? Or can Cameron Beaubier keep the #1 plate for the 4th time in his storied career? It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship, the final race of 2019 from the Championship of Alabama from Barber Motorsports Park. Hello, everyone, and welcome to FS2's coverage of MotoAmerica. I'm Greg White, standing alongside Jason Pridmore, and this is it, EBC Brakes Superbike, final race of the year. Now, Jason, when we came into this weekend, it was 16 points between Tony Elias leading the way, Cameron Beaubier in second. Now it's only 7.
Yeah, it's all to play for now. These guys have been racing all over the country all year long. We've seen the ups and downs. There's a lot of things that could happen today. We're just going to have to see how it plays out.
And race action was, well, it was different. So why don't we take a look at the highlights?
Considering all the pressure coming into this race, Cameron Beaubier got the dream start from that front row. He would go on and lead for the first 2 or 3 laps of this race before this crazy chain of events happened, all because the #1 made a big mistake in the turn 12-13 complex. That allowed Josh Herrin to go for the door that he thought was open, only to lose the rear. Cameron and him both run wide, and Garrett Gerloff is now ready to go set sail. Set sail he did. He opened up a gap because Cameron Beaubier and Josh Herrin were going back and forth at each other like this for 2 to 3 laps. It was going to take a very aggressive move for Cameron Beaubier to get by the #2 Josh Herrin, and he did just that in Museum Corner, and he was set sail after his teammate. Kyle Wyman and Tony Elias also took advantage of the mistake that Herrin made, and then Elias went underneath Kyle Wyman down into Charlotte's Web. He would never be a factor as the 2 factory Yamahas pulled away. Once Cameron Beaubier got to the rear wheel of Garrett Gerloff, it was time to make a pass. He ran laps consistently as fast as qualifying, and he was able to pull the lead away from Garrett Gerloff with about 4 to go and go on and win race 1.
Unbelievable. Here's the championship point standings. We've been talking about it. 7 points now between Tony Elias and Cameron Beaubier, who are locked in this title battle. Of course, Garrett Gerloff kind of alone in 3rd place, Jason, and then you have JD Beach sitting there ahead of Josh Herrin. So really, if you look at these point standings, other than the #1 plate, I think the rest of this is kind of decided on the year. So, Jason, the question is, can Tony Elias and his Yoshimura crew make up an 18-second deficit? That was the difference between 1st and 3rd yesterday.
It's a real big ask for Tony and the team. We know Tony's a tremendous rider, but he's just missing a little something. Now, if there's a team in the paddock that can find that for him, it's the Yoshimura Suzuki crew.
Without question, the momentum is in Cameron Beaubier's favor at the moment, but can Tony Elias hang on to this championship? We're inching closer to the race start. Fox Sports coverage of MotoAmerica Superbike racing from Barber Motorsports Park is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the 2019 MotoAmerica Championship. Fox Sports coverage of MotoAmerica Superbike racing from Barber Motorsports Park is brought to you by EBC Brakes, official brake pads of the 2019 MotoAmerica Superbike Series. If you have a funny feeling in your stomach right now, those are butterflies because you are invested in MotoAmerica EBC Brakes Superbike class. It has come down to this, the final race of the season for this class. 7 points separate our #1 plate, Cameron Beaubier, with number 24, Tony Elias. And it is going to be exciting to see who wins this championship. This is how they're lining up, Jason. Beaubier, Gerloff, Josh Herrin on row #1.
And then we got just a little on row 2 there. Great to see Jake Gagne back there on row 2. Tony Elias coming from row 2. Kyle Wyman, who put in a really solid first 10 or 12 laps yesterday. Let's hope he can get that pace and keep it there on the Ducati. Then we have Jake Lewis, Matthew Schultz, and Cameron Peterson in row 3. JD Beach, close guy to get into the podium yesterday with Dave Anthony next to him and Travis Wyman on row 4. And then on back to row 5, Greg, we got Max Flinders, and we got Brad Burns back there. You know, I think that when we listened to Hanner's interviews, I thought the poignant questions were team odor questions between Herrin and Gerloff, because they can definitely play a factor in this championship, because I just feel what I've seen so far is that Tony Elias just doesn't just doesn't have the pace. For whatever the reason might be, Greg, just doesn't have the pace. And you can see on our screen now, Elias has got a 7-point lead over Beaubier. Gerloff and Beach are out of the championship, so it's really become a 2-horse race. But I think that Josh Herring gets great starts. He could shake up the beginning of this race. He's tremendous at making early bids. This guy here, if he gets the same start as he got yesterday and stays away from that mistake that we saw him make, he can definitely get out front. We've been able to see Gerloff get out front and create that gap. And I think that that's got to be Cameron Beaubier's biggest thing he can be thinking about right now in this warm-up lap is let's get a good, clean, solid first 5 laps in front.
The thing to keep in mind in this one, there's so many different scenarios, Jason, but if Cameron Beaubier, wins this race, Tony has to be second to win the title.
Yes, correct.
There's so many different scenarios that are playing out, but I mean, it's so tense right now. I mean, even on this warm-up lap, I'm thinking, all right, nobody make a mistake. The race start is something in talking with both the Yamaha team and the Suzuki team as to just everyone wants a clean start and to let these riders race it out. Anything can happen in racing, and that is exactly why we're here.
And they're so experienced, but the crew of the #1 bike of Beaubier and the 24 of Tony Elias, they've gone over these bikes over and over and over because this has now become the most important race of the year. They want to make sure that nothing goes without being checked.
Let me give you another scenario here. If Cameron Beaubier is second, Tony Elias can win the title by finishing 4th because it would be a tiebreaker on most wins on the season. And right now, Tony Elias has 7 wins to Cam Beaubier's 5. So many scenarios to play out. It's time, though, to decide who's the 2019 EBC Brakes Superbike champion. The Championship of Alabama, the final Superbike race of the year, getting ready to get underway. Cameron Beaubier, Tony Elias going after this one. Revs are up, and here we go.
Garrett Gerloff, great start alongside Josh Herring as well. Let's see if Gerloff lets his teammate take to the front. Nope, it's going to be Josh Herring, just as I called.
Oh,
and here's what happens, Greg. Cameron now back all the way to 7th right off the bat as Herring forced his way through.
Wow, what a move by Yoshimura Suzuki's Josh Herring. Takes the lead, forces Cameron Beaubier off the racetrack, and now Garrett Gerloff has got to try to help his teammate. There goes Gerloff on brakes, underneath Josh Herring, and who's in 3rd?
Jake Gagne running 3rd on the BMW. Cameron Beaubier just continues to make things difficult on himself, obviously getting shut out in turn 1, but race after race, Cameron just cannot have a race that's just free of tiny mistakes. Now, he's got to not only come from 7th place or 6th place, wherever he's at right now, he's got to go past Tony Elias and then hope that by the time he gets there, his teammate isn't long gone down the road.
So many fast riders in this one that Beaubier has got to get around if he's got any hopes of this championship. Tony Elias in 4th at the moment as Garrett Gerloff, the number 31, starting to set sail. Unbelievable race start. It's exactly what the Monster Energy Yamalube Yamaha factory team feared. Not a clean start.
I'm just behind these guys. It looked like Cameron was trying to go up the inside of everybody. Matthew Schultz was very tight, and he went up underneath Wyman. Now you can see Schultz is up the back of Tony Elias, as is Cameron Beaubier, as they come across the start-finish line now into turn 1. Schultz is going to let the brakes off and hold off Beaubier.
Beaubier has got to keep his wits about him. We have seen him do some crazy things. Road Atlanta when Cameron Beaubier started 11th, but he came back through the field. This is not over yet.
Gagne's got to run on Herring right now as they break down into turn 5. Schultz is going to go up the inside of Elias as well, and he's going to make that pass on the Westby bike. He's going to run a little bit wide. Tony's going to try to square it back up, and he does.
A little rub in there. Tony Elias trying to desperately hold on to his position. Schultz looks around the other side, and Beaubier may have scooched his way up right behind Tony.
And that's pretty heady there from Matthew Schultz. I tell you right now, Greg, he is on a Yamaha also, and he is looking back. These other riders are going to be very heady on knowing where the 2 championship contenders always are. He probably had a quick look back to see where Schultz was. As you can see, Gagne gets a big run. Oh, no, sorry, it's Cameron getting a big run on Tony Elias. Expect a pass on Elias here in turns 15 and 16. This is where Cameron showed a lot of his moves right here, Greg. This is where it's going to happen.
Look at the number 1. Up the inside he goes, just like Jason said. He's side by side with Tony Elias. So Cameron Beaubier will transition it back to turn number 17. So there goes Cameron Beaubier, and now he's ahead of his championship rival.
And you see how easy of a fight that was for Cameron. He was able to get by and pull enough gap through that last corner where Tony wasn't able to go back past him on the front straightaway like we've seen at other tracks. Now, he's got two guys in front of him that are battling, and his teammate, Greg, let's not forget about him, 24-8. When we look at the championship points as they sit now, Elias would win it by 5 points. So Cameron has to go to work and get past Gagne and Herron as quickly as he can. Otherwise, Greg, it's going to be very, very difficult for him.
Unbelievable how this is turning out right now. Cameron Beaubier, in his quest to hold on to the number one plate, has all the work to do. You can see, Jason talked about it, Tony Elias doesn't look like at the moment he has the pace, but we've seen this from Tony before. Could be the situation where they figured something out and he's got a full fuel load. He's got to get the gas level down a little bit. I'm not 100% certain on that, though, Jason. I'm not sold on it, but it could be the case.
Yeah, but look at this BMW, Greg. Even if Cameron gets up into second, even if Cameron goes on to win, not only has he got to still catch his teammate Josh Herron, who is pulling away from Elias as we speak, but so is the BMW of Jake Gagne. Best run we've seen from him all year long on that BMW.
We didn't even get to talk about Jake Gagne being a factor in this championship, but he could be. So Jake Gagne back in action, getting healthy out of San Diego, California. Spent last year in World Superbike on the Shivey Racing BMW. Josh Herron in second spot, Gagne in third, and Cameron Beaubier in fourth.
And right now, Matthew Schultz has gone a little bit backwards as well. Here's what we're going to see. We're going to see a great start from both riders. Herron's going to come up the inside of Gerloff, and when they get to the apex of the corner, Herron's just going to inch out in front, and Beaubier just ends up running wide. Now, in years past, Greg, that was grass. He would have been out in grass and probably got passed by a lot of people. Now he's going up underneath Jake Gagne.
Beaubier around Gagne, another heap of points for him, as now Beaubier is going to try to set after Josh Herron. Unless Gagne fights back, he'll settle in there. There's a lot of riders in this that are like, let the championship play itself out. I'm going to keep it clean, because Gagne is in a great position. If he can continue this torrid pace and stay ahead of Tony Elias, that could play in the favor of Cameron Beaubier.
Now keep in mind, we got the same situation here as Beaubier is going to get a run on Herron, but this isn't going to be where it's going to happen. Even though he's got to get to the front, Greg, Herron's going to be too good off into this left-right. Herron has not had anybody around him. As you get on board here from Beaubier, you're going to see him try to sneak up the inside of Herron again. You can see him open up the line. Now he's going to cut it close to the tight, but Herron's blocking. He knows, Greg, he knows that Beaubier's behind him. Maybe not right this second that he knows, but he knows that's the move that Cameron's going to want to push.
Yesterday, the move was in turn 8. There's Tony Elias, your championship points leader, coming into this race, losing points. Can Kyle Wyman get around him? So Josh Herron, number 2, sailing it off into turn number 1 with Beaubier right on his rear wheel.
And as a rider, you can hear bikes behind you. So probably if Herron can hear bikes behind him, the tone of the bike behind him has gone from that BMW now to this Yamaha. Cameron Beaubier's got a big run on him as they go down into turn 5.
Cameron Beaubier into turn 5, hard on the brakes. He gets it down there, it's clean. But now we know Josh Herron's got a good run out of this corner heading to turn 8. Beaubier's going to try to hold it tight. There goes Herron up the inside. He's going to make the pass. Side by side they go. Beaubier's got to give it to him. He goes up the inside. Is he going to do it again?
Same move.
He does. Same move as yesterday. But now Herron's right on his tail section. So can Beaubier make this one stick? It's a little frantic and can be a little bit unsettling in this part of the racetrack.
This is where Cameron's good, though, Greg. See that drive out? Now he's going to let Gagne go by. Gagne's going to go up underneath Herron as Herron takes a long look over his shoulder to find out what?
Yeah, where his teammate is.
Yes.
But letting Gagne by wasn't the move. Oh, Gagne's got some problems.
Gagne's off on the right side of the track. He's upright, but the bike has shut itself off.
Unbelievable. That plays into the favor. So Josh Herron did the right thing. So now Josh Herron lets Cameron Beaubier. Oh, Gagne,
that is
the
such
best.
A shame right there.
Heartbreak, and it plays into this championship. So let's sort itself out. We have Garrett Gerloff, 3.2 seconds ahead of Cameron Beaubier. Now we have Josh Herron, who's going to let his teammate go by. So now we have a situation here where Josh Herron is masterful. We saw it yesterday, the number 2, when he was blocking JD Beach. So now the question becomes, is Josh Herron going to play police patrol for his teammate? And now what is
Here's what you got again, though. Here's what you got again. You got a group of 3 guys. You got 2 two Yamahas and a Ducati that are right on the back end of Josh Herrin. He's in a horrible spot, but he's trying to do the right thing, Greg. And this is where, you know, I got to give my hat off to Josh Herrin. He has pace. He knows he has pace to go up to the front. He's doing a good teammate thing right now, but he can't slow down too much. And here you go. Gagne goes up underneath Herrin. And it seems to me, Greg, he just loses power. He goes to get on the gas and just completely loses power. What a shame.
Heads up by Josh Herrin to not get collected by that bike. Look at Tony Elias riding so hard right now. We're going to be keeping a really close eye on the lap times because Cameron Beaubier has been on a flyer this last lap by, but it's going to be between Herrin and Tony Elias right now. And what does Garrett Gerloff have in the tank? He's not slowing down at all. More MotoAmerica after this. Welcome back to EBC Brakes Superbikes. Looking at sector split times, neither one of these two riders setting the world on fire at the moment, Jason. But you can see Cameron Beaubier is closing that gap. And it's not a slow pace. 24.3 for Beaubier, 25.6 for Gerloff. There's the move, though, as Beaubier gets right on the tail section of Gerloff as they head through the final sector of this racetrack. My guess, Jason, would be as they come across start-finish line and heading off into turn number 1, you're going to see a pass. So there's Beaubier's information. No, it's not going to be this time, but there's the group behind them. You can see it's about a straightaway now.
Yeah, and that group behind is going to consist of Elias and Herrin as well as Cam Peterson. Let's give him a shout. It's great to see him do well.
Garrett Gerloff a little wide down through the bottom of turn number 2 and 3. Cameron Beaubier takes over the lead. And that'll put this championship in Beaubier's favor. And make no mistake, there's still 13 laps of tense racing to go in this one.
And Tony is getting to see this. He knows he's got his teammate behind him, but he's looking to see what's going on up front. He's going to see that Beaubier's taking the lead. And there's just really nothing. He just doesn't have the pace. Just doesn't have the pace to go with the Yamahas. And you can see Garrett's going to get into turn 2. He's going to run it out just a little bit, and that's going to open up the spot for Cameron Beaubier to just slip up underneath him.
Can't emphasize the importance of having teammates in any racing situation. There's been talk of, we see riders all the time, like, your Jake Gagne, who has one, Kyle Wyman, one rider on the team. But when you're in a championship situation, when it's been Yamaha versus Suzuki, the importance of having a teammate is playing out in front of you at the moment. Garrett Gerloff, he wants to win this race, but he understands the larger picture in this championship hunt. As Cameron Beaubier, he ran him down. 24.3 is not slow. Beaubier doing a 24.6.
But now you look at the times, Greg. They're both running in that mid-25 range now because, we're looking at the group behind. 25.1 for Tony Elias that time. So he was almost half a second quicker than the leaders. You can see Cameron now just starting to edge away from Gerloff. He's not going to want to slow down too much. You want to be able to keep your concentration and your focus up. And that's the main thing. Now, the other thing I'll talk to you about is this battle right here for third. This battle is going to be heating up because Matthew Scults is also, and Cam Peterson. Cam Peterson has been riding amazing this weekend. Look at Scults trying to work the inside of Herrin. But there's the live championship in the bottom right. Beaubier would win by 2 points. You don't think Cameron Peterson would love to get on that podium today?
Of course he would.
Scults? Absolutely.
And I talked to Scults yesterday and asked him, and he said, I'm aware there's a championship going on, but I'm also aware that I need to put this motorcycle on the podium for the Westby Racing team, and that is his focus. Cameron Beaubier, Jason, just set the fastest outright split time in Sector 2. He is not slowing down at all. He's got to keep pushing.
Absolutely. He wants to make sure that he can create a big enough a gap. And you don't want to get out of your rhythm. There's a rhythm that every rider can get in. And when we've seen this guy ride on his absolute edge, he doesn't look any different than if he's out on a Sunday morning stroll. And he can put down lap after lap of fast pace. And you can see there's his board, 0.2 over his teammate P1, and with 11 to go. So he's back down 24.2. He just went quickest lap of the race, Greg. 24.2 here on lap with 11 laps to go. Tony Elias, but look at Scults. Scults is doing everything he can right now. He probably saw yesterday where Herrin and JD Beach were kind of getting balked a little bit. Herrin's trying to slow the pace and not let these guys by. But Matthew's itching to try to get by Josh Herrin right now.
Yeah, the emphasis that Matthew Scults had on the fact that he wants to put this on the podium. Oh, there goes Herrin. Mistake by Herrin.
Is he got a problem?
I just think he was deep into that corner because Herron was doing the job he needed to do. But now Tony Elias could come under fire from Matthew Skoltz, who, by the way, had to exit the race yesterday as he felt something kind of letting go in the motor, so they replaced that motor.
And honestly, it's a tough position for Josh Herron to be in. It is a very, very difficult position, and he looked like he outbroke himself. There's probably so many different thoughts going through Josh Herron's mind of exactly where he was. He wants to try to do the right thing, but he's getting pushed from the back. He can't go to the front maybe like he wants to. It's a very difficult position, and it's easy to lose a little bit of focus.
So Tony Elias in third right now sees the championship slipping through his hands as Cameron Beaubier and Garrett Gerloff are out front. 11 laps to go in this one. Can Cameron Beaubier hold on to that #1 plate? We'll find out after this. 10 laps to go. Cameron Beaubier, your race leader. His teammate Garrett Gerloff right behind him. Just pulled the fastest lap of the race, a 124.218. Oh, and JD Beach in his last race on the Superbike. He's out of this one.
Such a shame. Yeah, JD Beach is gone down. He was a little bit off pace today, Greg. Didn't really get to see where that was, or didn't get to see the incident, but he was definitely a little bit off pace as we get back to the front here with these two guys. You look on the left side of our screen, Greg, it says number 11, Matthew Skoltz, has passed Tony Elias down into the turn 5 area. So that is going to be the big problem now.
There he is.
That number 11 Yamaha Westby team, fresh off a podium from New Jersey. Now Skoltzy's got him back up there where they want to be.
So Matthew Skoltz did what he said he wanted to do. Reward his team for a great year by trying to put this Westby Racing Yamaha on the podium. All things we hear is that Matthew Skoltz is on board for next season. Here's a look at how it unfolded from the onboard camera shot.
He gets a run up over turn 4, and he just kind of gets himself down the inside. All you have to do, Greg, is prevent somebody from turning in, and you can see Matthew got up just alongside of him enough to where it made it hard for Tony to go by. Now, keeping back just behind them, Herron has now gone up and gone past Cameron Peterson. So now there's really nothing that Herron can do other than if he wants to go chase after Skoltz and try to get that podium, because Matthew is getting pulled away from him, and you can see must have happened in one of the last couple corners for JD Beach as he pushes his bike back down the hill towards pit lane.
South African Cam Peterson on the Omega Moto Yamaha R1. Last rider in the screen. He is so close to a podium. It's been such an up and down season with the Omega Moto team, and this would reward. Live championship right there, as you can see that Matthew Skoltz now has padded Cameron Beaubier's lead on Elias virtually at this point. Of course, still 9 laps to go in this race, and these two riders pushing hard. And why did you just say?
Yeah, second sector, Greg.
Exactly.
He's gone purple again as Cameron
Beaubier.
Beaubier. I mean, and look, Josh Herron, I think Josh might be having brake problems because it looked like Cam Peterson had gone by him again down into turn 5, and Josh went back by him. As a look at Kyle Wyman running 7th. That's going to be 6th now. But I don't know if Herron's got some brake problems or what. You see those big black marks there?
Yeah.
My guess is that was probably JD Beach a couple laps ago. I haven't seen those ones before.
Yeah, absolutely. So Garrett Gerloff, and listen, this might be a situation where if Tony Elias continues to drift back, Garrett Gerloff might have the green light to just go ahead and get moving. Now keep in mind, this is a decision that Garrett Gerloff is making. He talked to Hannah on the podium yesterday about the situation that he's in. He wants to win the race, but also he wants Yamaha to win a championship. So there's still 8 laps to go in this race, and anything can happen. We talk about it all the time.
Here we go. Now we're going to get a look at Herron. He gets in there, and look, Greg, it's almost like he's not getting the bike slowed down. But like I said, there's a lot of scenarios that are probably running through Josh Herron's brain right now, and none of them are to try to get to the front and go win like he would love to be able to go do. I think from the first day, the sessions that I watched, he made the biggest jump and the biggest improvement, and I feel like he has pace.
Yeah, Josh Herron, too, is also on the softest available option, that medium front tire. So maybe with the extra heat we have today, the possibility of that front tire might be giving up a little bit on him as well. A combination of just not getting we know he's not getting the front end of the bike stopped.
That's right. Nope, that's exactly right. So back at the front, these guys have a 7.4 second lead with 8 laps to go. And getting another look at Cameron Beaubier's board here in a little while.
Jason, Jason, I hate to interrupt you, but you've been in this situation before where you're about to win a national champion. When do you start short shifting, and what does that even mean?
No, you don't short shift. You just keep the pedal down. Short shifting basically is what Greg's talking about, is kind of trying to take care of the motor. But these motors that these guys are on, Yamaha's been, you know, I don't want to be the announcer's curse thing, but you know, they've done very well. This is the more interesting battle here. Matthew Skoltz is ever so slightly just starting to creep away from Tony Elias. A 25 flat for the Yamaha Westby rider that last time through. Tony Elias 25-2, along with Cam Peterson at 25-2. So Cam Peterson is still trying to chase after that podium, 5th place right now, and just not far behind these guys is still Kyle Wyman back there in 6th. Kyle Wyman also 25 flat that last time by. So Tony's really not out of any trouble yet, because Cam Peterson's only a 2nd behind him. Wyman is only 1.4 behind Cameron Peterson.
7 laps to go in this one. Cameron Beaubier looking like he is in control. I'm sure fans of Cameron Beaubier are going to be hearing what Cameron Beaubier is going to be hearing. Jay, there's always that talk about that last lap of the race when you have the championship in sight. Are you hearing little things? Are you feeling little things? Well, tension is high. He's trying to keep his focus.
You do that maybe on your first one or maybe your second one. This guy's had a few championships now, Greg, not only in 600s and in Superbike. He's very seasoned. He's just getting on with business. There you go, Greg, plus 7.4. Gerloff's board. You see Mike Canfield holding that board up for Garrett Gerloff. 7.4 second lead right now for the Yamaha duo. 24.9, 25 flat that time through. How about a 24.9 for Tony Elias that time? So he's still trying his best to do what he can to salvage this.
What an unbelievable championship we have had in 2019. A change of fortunes throughout the season. Tony Elias came out of the box with a 2nd place finish to Cam Beaubier's win. It was just podiums back and forth during the first 5 races until VIR race number 2 when Cam Beaubier had a DNF, and then it was just chasing back onto the back of Tony Elias back and forth all season long. We couldn't ask for anything more, Jason, than 7-point deficit as we came into this final round. And now you have teammates, Monster Energy, Yamalube, Yamaha Factory Racing's Cameron Beaubier. And you can see
Brad
there
Burns
that
got out of the way there, so he got the blue flag. Good for Brad. Just moved over and let these 2 guys continue to roll through in their race.
By the way, Matthew Skoltz just set the fastest Sector 1 time of the race. Wow, 15.139. Now Kyle Wyman has gotten around Tony Elias. So now more points being padded, as if Garrett Gerloff had gotten around Cameron Beaubier while Tony was in 4th. They would have tied in points and Tony would have won the championship. But now Kyle Wyman is helping out in terms of this championship, as Wyman is trying to find his way onto a podium. But it's not only Wyman, it's Cam Peterson and Wyman. Yep. So now all of a sudden Tony Elias back in 6th place.
Is he? Yeah, gosh, Greg, it's crazy to see. So Tony, obviously big mistake, he's pushing, but 28.9. Matthew Skoltz again goes 15 flat in that first split. Fastest of the race. Cam Peterson does his fastest first split of the race as well.
So Tony Elias sits in 6th place. The gloves are off now for Cameron Beaubier and Garrett Gerloff. As you can see, Tony Elias with that tremendous mistake, and that's what happened. So Tony Elias, for the moment, at least he saved it, Jason, and still gives himself a chance to win this championship.
And that's a place that I saw. I was sitting in that corner on Friday afternoon when Tony had a big accident over in that spot. He might have had that rear just kick around on him again, and he got that bike up right, Greg, and ran it off the track.
So Tony Elias in 6th spot as his championship slips through his fingers. All the while, Cameron Beaubier leads the way. More MotoAmerica after this. Welcome back to EBC Brakes Superbikes. When they come across the stripe the next time, it's going to be 4 laps to go for Cameron Beaubier, the California native, trying to capture his 4th title in MotoAmerica EBC Brakes Superbike competition. Matthew Skoltz on a ripper of a lap, trying to catch these riders, but he's still 7 seconds adrift, and there's Cam Peterson and Kyle Wyman. Jason, the tale of this season has been incredible. Since Sonoma number 1, Tony Elias has been DNF 3rd, 1st, and then 4th, 4th, 3rd, 83 points. Cameron Beaubier, 1st, 2nd, 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 1st, 1st, 135 points. That's a difference of 52 points, not counting this race And that has been the deficit that Cameron Beaubier has clawed back.
It's easy to Monday morning quarterback, as they say, and you can look back on the tail of a season as now Beaubier would have an 8-point lead. Tony Elias has not given up, though, Greg. He is chasing after Cam Peterson, and Matthew Schultz had a 25 flat that last time, too. So he's still 24-8, rather. He's still pushing very hard to try to get back up there and salvage if anything was to happen, and he's got to keep doing that.
Listen to Cameron Beaubier. Boy, that motor sounds like it is running strong as an ox. Tony Elias trying to chase down Kyle Wyman again. The difference between 6th and 5th is only a single point. But then it's that jump from 5th to 4th, which gives you 2.
And the real tell now is just time. We only got 3 laps to go left in this race. And Matthew Schultz is how far up the road is he from them, Greg? He's got to be a good
6.9 seconds.
Yeah, he's quite a ways up the road. Well, he's 6.9 behind the leader, but he's got another 6 seconds on where Tony is.
Yeah, gotcha.
And Tony's got 2 guys between him. As you can see, Kyle Wyman and Cam Peterson are going on to their possible best finishes of the season.
And Peterson in 4th spot at the moment. This is going to be a battle all the way down to the finish between these 2 riders. What a resurgence we've seen from Kyle Wyman, really starting to come into his own as this motorcycle starts to get sorted out. What's going to happen with Wyman? I know we want Ducati back in this championship for 2020 with Wyman as he goes side by side with Cam Peterson.
He got the biggest run on him out of turn 5. Tony again out of shape. Tony's closing up on these guys. Makes a big mistake. You can see Greg had to backshift the bike to get it back into the gear he needed to be in. So all that work that he had made to get to the back of these guys, he's got to do it all over again, Greg, and he's only got 2.5 laps to go.
And he's sliding all over the place.
Yep, he's in wide. He hits that curbing. Can you imagine if it had been a year ago? You've made comments all weekend long about how the track is raised an inch higher. That could have been a lot bigger if it would have been a year ago.
Yeah, that curve would have been an inch higher, and that would have sent Tony directly over it. Daisuke, his crew chief, looking on at this one. Well, I think they've done all that they can do at this point with 2 laps remaining in this race in the 2019 championship. Teammates, we heard it in yesterday's broadcast. Cameron Beaubier and Garrett Gerloff have been locked together for a number of years on 600s together. Cameron went up to the Superbike program first. A couple of years later, there comes Garrett Gerloff. And these 2 riders have been with each other on and off inside of a trailer for many, many years.
Yeah, and you know, Greg, if the shoe was on the other foot, we'd probably be seeing the exact same thing.
No doubt.
There's definitely a respect. Obviously, everybody's rivals. Everybody's wants to beat the next guy. But at the end of the day, there's a common courtesy amongst riders. I mean, you even saw how some of the guys that aren't in the championship were racing against some of our championship contenders, being Beaubier and Elias, giving them plenty of room, letting them decide this. They don't want to be the ones that are going to help decide the championship. And right now, Garrett Gerloff's done a great job, had a great season. These guys are still in the 24s, though. They're still doing 20-minute, 24 lap times.
Unbelievable. What a turn of events. Cameron Beaubier had to do it from what had to be not a good start. It wasn't a horrible start, but it wasn't good when he ran off the track. And what a save to keep his championship hopes alive.
And you can see by the board there, 1 lap to go. And, you know, we have this big scoring tower in the middle of our circuit. Cameron Beaubier is going to be looking up at that. No question. You can see it. As a rider, you're going to see the 24 in 6th place. Cameron Beaubier knows exactly where he's at right now, as it looks like Elias goes up underneath Peterson, and Travis Wyman had already got past. So Kyle Wyman has got past on the Ducati up to 4th place.
So Peterson loses the spot to Tony Elias. I think some people were at home thinking, okay, with Tony back there in 6th spot, does Garrett Gerloff go for the win? There's too much at stake. Too much can happen behind you. I think at this point, you just come across the line. And don't forget, Matthew Schultz sitting there in 3rd spot. You think Yamaha came to this weekend thinking that they might win this championship, hold on to that number 1 plate, and have a Yamaha sweep of the podium. Oh, you can see Cameron Beaubier getting aggressive with the front end of that motorcycle. Both these riders still pushing very hard. Half a lap to navigate in this final race of 2019.
Still 24.7s for the pair of them on the last lap, compared to 24.2 being the fastest. So tremendous job by both these guys.
Yamaha, Cameron Beaubier, Garrett Gerloff, the final corner of 2019. to the throttle stop. Cameron Beaubier behind the bubble. They'll come to the line, and Beaubier will win the race and wrap up the 2019 championship. Matthew Skoltz over the line, wheel in the air. Tony Elias worked his way back up to 4th spot and got around Kyle Wyman. He did everything he possibly could, and good on Garrett Gerloff for not trying to win this race at the end, because that championship would have gone to Tony Elias.
Amazing.
But it goes to Cameron Beaubier again, and it's Cameron Beaubier who will be collecting the #1 plate tomorrow night at the Night of Champions here in Birmingham, Alabama, and a Yamaha sweep.
And who's the first guy to come up, Greg? Who's going to be the first guy? Tony Elias is going to be the first guy other than Garrett Gerloff to come up, bow his head, say congratulations on a great year, a great championship. Tony's just a class act. I love everything about him. He never stops trying. I feel bad for him. The last couple rounds just hasn't had the pace that Beaubier and Gerloff has showcased.
Yeah, we talked about that point swing. You're talking before this race, 83 points collected in those last few races for Tony Elias and 135 for Cameron Beaubier. And I think that this championship might haunt Tony Elias for a while, Jason. It's a long off season. We expect to see Tony back with the Yoshimura Suzuki crew. We don't know any different beyond that. We think he's going to be back. So what'll happen to Cameron Beaubier, who's got no contract right now? I know he's got some offers on the table, as does Garrett Gerloff. But this championship set to resume possibly in 2020 between Cameron Beaubier, Tony Elias, and of course now you've got to look and say, dude, Garrett Gerloff is so in the middle of this entire thing. You got Matthew Skoltz, who's going to start a second year with his electronics and keep going on with, you know, Westby Racing. It's going to be amazing. But here is the championship points spread, as Cameron Beaubier in the record books will have a 5-point advantage over Tony Elias. When we look at this championship in a couple of years, we'll say, remember when? It was only 5 points the difference between your championship leader, your championship winner, and second place.
There were so many frustrations in the last 6 rounds or 5 rounds for Cameron Beaubier, and you can see the #1 jersey that they will be sliding on. Alpine Star makes those for those riders. Class move by them. That's going to be going to Cameron Beaubier. And, you know, it's been a crazy year, Greg. I'm just excited that it went all the way down to the last lap, last flag of the year.
And also for Cameron Beaubier's crew chief, Rick Hobbs, who announced his retirement, who's won many championships in his career as a mechanic and a crew chief with a variety of teams over the years. He will send Rick Hobbs off to retirement with another #1 plate. Here's some of the action we saw during the course of the race, and it was so interesting.
This is Beaubier coming to the front after a bad start. He went up underneath Elias in his favorite spot on the track. They'll name those corners after Cameron Beaubier there 15 and 16 and in 10 or 15 years from now. But Cameron kept on pushing forward. Herron goes up underneath him in 6, gets a little wide. Beaubier makes a pass in the same place 2 days in a row on the #2 of Josh Herron. And then you can see, once he got to the back of his teammate runs a little bit wide, almost as like, here you go. And this is them coming to the line, Greg, for the checkered flag. Whole Yamaha crew on the wall. Cameron Beaubier wins title #4.
Not quite as fast as yesterday, but still extremely fast. Credited with the fastest lap of the race, that's going to be Garrett Gerloff on lap #11 at a 124.218. Cameron Beaubier a 124.247. So only 0.03 of a second separate those two in fastest lap times. But also, Jason, Matthew Skoltz was able to uncork a 24.5.
Amazing. Yeah. I bet our boy old Chuck Giacchetto is going to be down there mingling with the Yamaha boys afterwards, huh?
Absolutely. It's going to be 5 podiums
Westby
for
team?
the Westby team this year, and Matthew
Amazing.
Skoltz on an up and down season for them. But the story is right here. You know, what a crew, what a team, what a fight. Never giving up on the season, scrapping for every single point he had. Cameron Beaubier. You know, Jason, back in the middle of the season, you know, on round number 9, Cameron Beaubier in Utah didn't have a good run at it, if you remember, and he's 4th place. That's his only time off the podium when he finished a race, Cameron Beaubier. How important was it for him to be able to collect those 4th place points all the way back then?
And we saw him frustrated. I mean, there were races, kind of what happened even here yesterday, what happened here today. There's just always that one little thing that just happens to Cameron in these races, and he makes the races hard. makes it exciting for you and I because we get to call him. But man, there's so many times where he has had pace to what would seemingly be to walk away, and he's made the races difficult. But you know, he's a very deserving champion, a great champion, and twice defending now.
So Cameron Beaubier wraps up the 2019 EBC Brakes Superbike title, and he'll be celebrating in Victory Lane with everybody, obviously, except the Yosh team on this one, because it's a Yamaha affair, as Beaubier, Garrett Gerloff, and Matthew Skultz will get to stand on the podium with family. Cameron Beaubier celebrating another national title, and he'll be talking about this championship for a long time.
On behalf of Alpha Stars, we'd like to congratulate you on the 2019 Superbike Championship. Well done. If I could. It's the right way, brother.
Cameron Beaubier getting congratulations from his sponsor Alpine Stars as they made that #1 shirt. It goes on. Shaking his head in disbelief. We're going to hear from Cameron Beaubier and the other competitors on the other side of this break, so don't go anywhere as we return to Barber Motorsports Park in a moment. Well, Hannah is with our champion, Cameron Beaubier. What a season, Hannah.
Cam, you just let out a huge sigh of relief. You got run out wide there kind of early on, had to fight your way to the front. How'd you do it?
Yeah, I did everything I could to, man, I don't even know what to say. I did everything I could to stay on the track there. Heron got in there hot. I was on the outside of him. I went through clipped the dirt a little bit, got shuffled way back, and I was like, are you kidding me? Because, like, I felt so good going into the race because, you know, the pace Garrett and I had yesterday, and it felt even better this morning in warm-up, and it put me on the back foot right away, and I just gave it everything I had to pass all those guys, and man, those guys are so tough to pass. They've been ripping all year. This is the toughest the Superbike class has ever been since I've been in it, and it's literally a grind every time I get on the bike. And so I was so happy I was able to, you know, put a little gap on them, and yeah, I just can't believe it. Obviously, my teammate helped me out a little bit there at the end without fighting me too much, you know. So hats off to him. He's been riding incredible. It's really tough, but really rewarding having such a fast teammate like that, and it feels so good to keep the #1 on my bike for everyone that supports us, and especially Yamaha. It really is a big family, and I love all those guys. This one's definitely for my crew chief Rick Hobbs. He's been my crew chief ever since we started on the Superbike together. And he's just an amazing crew chief and an even better guy. So this one's for him, and hats off to all my sponsors, Alpine Star, Bell, the man above for keeping me safe, and yeah, Monster Energy, Yamalube, Yamaha. I don't even know what to say. I'm just I didn't know this was going to be possible coming into this round. Like Tony's always been pretty strong. He's an incredible rider, such a tough competitor, and yeah, man, next year's going to be tough.
Congratulations to your 2019 EBC Brakes Superbike champion, Cameron Beaubier.
We certainly enjoy you joining us during the entire season here on FS2. Don't forget, you can check out the MotoAmerica Live Plus app where they have video on demand of the entire season, and you can enjoy it all winter long. For Jason Pridmore, for Hannah Lopa, and our entire crew here at FS2, thank you so much for joining us for the 2019 MotoAmerica Championship.